Hey, welcome to Happiness Bar. My goal is to share cocktails, content, and happiness. And today, we have a little fall craft cocktail for you. It's made with a Plum Infused Gin. It's made with Orgeat. It's made with lemon juice. It's made with a Tawny Port. It's shaken up. It's topped off with Prosecco. And we garnish that bad boy with a little Black Pepper Tincture. This cocktail is called the Wes Anderson. All right, so we got a little bit of prep work to do today. We gotta make that Plum Infused Gin. We gotta make that Black Pepper Tincture. We gotta make that Orgeat. We gotta juice some lemons. So let's jump right into the prep work. Tools you're gonna need for the prep. You're gonna need a cutting board. You're gonna need a knife. You're gonna need a kitchen scale. You need a citrus juicer. You're gonna need a liquid measuring cup. You need some cheesecloth. You need a spice grinder or a mortar and pestle. You're gonna need some mesh basket strainers. You're gonna need a pot. You need a food processor. You need a bar spoon or something you can stir with. And you're gonna need some sealable storage containers. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna get started with on prep is we're gonna make that Plum Infused Gin. So let's go ahead and grab our cutting board, our knife, and our kitchen scale. We got these beautiful dark purple plums here. So I'm gonna grab a few of these bad boys. And for our Plum Infused Gin, what we're looking for is 250 milliliters of gin to 214 grams of plums. So to start, we're gonna half these plums. Pull them apart just like so. Boom. All right, so we got these plums. Then we're gonna pull the pits out of these bad boys. All right, our plums are pitted. Now, before we go slicing them up, then I'm just gonna weigh them out so I know what my 214 grams is. Make sure that scale is 0. And let's add these plums. There we go. Just about 214 grams. That's perfect. So we cut a little too much. So probably about 3 plums. Yeah, so we got our 214 grams. Place those aside. And let's go ahead and slice these plums up nice and thin. Now you want to cut them thin because you want the most amount of surface contact as possible. Get these nice little thin plums. All right, we got our plums there. Place these extra plums to the side. All right, so now here's when you would normally need your measuring cup. I got this cool Crew bottle here, so I got my milliliters right on the bottle, so it makes it super easy for this kind of stuff. All right, so let's measure out our 250 milliliters of gin. $250 milliliters of gin. Let's add our 214 grams of our plum sliced thin. Now again, I use these purple plums, guys, but you can use whatever plums you find in your store that look great, man. So what's great about this recipe, you can kind of mix it up a little bit with that. All right, so seal the bottom of your bottle. Give it a good shake. Let's get this out of here. All right, so we're giving our bottle a good shake here. And there it is, guys, our Plum Infused Gin started. We're gonna put that in the refrigerator. We're gonna let that infuse overnight for 24 hours. Come back and strain it out. All right, guys, there it is, our Plum Infused Gin, infused for 24 hours. Look at the color that it picked up from those plums. It's beautiful. Like I said, next step, we got our basket strainer here. We got a little container, and we're just gonna strain out the plums. Right, we got our plums there. We can pour our Plum Infused Gin back into our Crew bottle here, seal up the bottom, and our Plum Infused Gin is ready to go. And little bonus, now you got these gin-infused plums for a little boozy snack. Wow. All right, we're gonna set our Plum Infused Gin aside. And next step in the process, we're gonna get our Black Pepper Tincture started. So our Black Pepper Tincture. Basically, guys, a tincture, we're gonna use it just like bitters, right? We're gonna impart that black pepper flavor, that black pepper note into the cocktail and on the nose to kind of just pair up with the Plum Infused Gin, the Prosecco, and the Orgeat, and all those great little notes in the port. So, for this Black Pepper Tincture, you're gonna need 3 ounces of a neutral grain spirit. So it's a high-proof spirit, kind of like vodka. Then you're also going to need 2 ounces of black peppercorns that have been kind of cracked and cut up. That's why we got the spice grinder here. So, I'm gonna start by just weighing out my 2 ounces of black peppercorns. I don't know why I smelled those. Ooh, that hurt my head. Okay, Zero that out. All right, 2 ounces. All right, 2 ounces black peppercorns. All right, we got 2 ounces of our black peppercorns. We're just gonna grind these up in a couple batches here. You just want a nice coarse grind on them, right? Nothing too crazy. Just make sure you don't breathe in when you open up the grinder. Guys, if you have a mortar and pestle, you can use that as well. This is just easier. You know, I can't recommend one of these Mr. Coffee little grinders here enough, to be honest. I use this thing so much for grinding shit up, and it's great for grinding up coffee fresh as well. That sounded like an infomercial. I promise it wasn't. All right, so we got our kitchen scale back again. Let's switch it up to fluid ounces, place that on there, zero it out, and we are going to pour 3 fluid ounces of our neutral grain spirit here. Three fluid ounces. Let's go ahead and seal that up with a lid. Give it a little shake here. And what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna let that infuse on our counter overnight, 24 hours, super easy, no shelf life on it. It's just liquor and pepper. It'll last you forever, kind of just like bitters. And then we'll come back and we'll strain this out through some cheesecloth after 24 hours. All right, guys, it's been 24 hours, right? We got our black pepper tincture here. Gonna take our cheesecloth, put it over our basket strainer, and we are just going to strain this out, just like that. Boom. Go ahead and just wrap up your black peppercorns in your cheesecloth and just give it a little squeeze, right? We just want to make sure we get all that tincture out, all that goodness. All right, get that out of here. We're gonna grab a lid, grab some blue tape, and we're gonna label and date. Like I said, guys, this doesn't really have a shelf life. It can last for as long as you need it, but let's label it anyway. Black pepper tincture, ready to go. All right, guys, so the next thing we gotta do is we gotta make that orgeat. So the recipe for my orgeat is 125 grams of blanched almonds, 300 milliliters of hot water, 300 grams of sugar, half teaspoon of orange flower water, and 1/4 ounce of brandy. All right, so let's weigh out our 125 grams of almonds. All right, and we're gonna add that to our pot. Next, we are just going to cover our almonds with water. Just enough water to cover them. We're gonna turn that on to a medium-high heat, and we're gonna bring that up to a boil, reduce down to a simmer, and allow it to simmer for 30 minutes. All right, these almonds are coming up to a boil here. We're gonna go ahead and reduce down to a simmer, and like I said, we're gonna allow them to simmer for 30 minutes. All right, guys, we've had our almonds simmering for 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and turn it off the heat, and let's go ahead and grab a basket strainer and strain our almonds out from the water. All right, so we have got our almonds strained. The next step is we're gonna add them to our food processor. And we're gonna turn our food processor on high till they're completely smooth. And while I've got that going, I'm gonna measure out my 300 milliliters of hot water. And we're gonna add that in. All right, I think we can turn that off now. We're looking good. We got a nice smooth consistency there. What we're gonna do for the next step is we need to add this little almond water mixture here to an airtight container. Gonna seal her up, and we're just gonna let that sit out for 2 hours to allow those almonds to infuse into the water. And we're gonna strain it out so we can get our fresh almond milk for our orgeat. All right, guys, it has been 2 hours. We've been letting our almond milk mixture infuse here. What I am going to do, use that to hold it steady. I'm gonna grab my cheesecloth here. We got our basket strainer. We got a fresh container to strain into. I'm gonna open up my cheesecloth. So we're just straining through basically a single layer. I guess technically a double layer maybe, but whatever. And I am just going to pour my almond milk mixture into the cheesecloth. Boom. Hear that beautiful little drizzle for fresh almond milk straining through. Now, I know a lot of times when I do orgeat, I like to toast the almonds or the nuts. I think it's a great little extra added level of flavor. In this cocktail, I just didn't feel like toasting it. I like the kind of just a straight almond orgeat for this cocktail. Just because it's a little brighter of a cocktail. So to help it along, you can make a little dumpling here with your cheesecloth. Although be careful so it doesn't spill over, doesn't squeeze out or anything like that. All right, and while that's straining, go ahead and weigh out our 300 grams of sugar. 300 grams of sugar. We'll add that into our pot over here so it's ready to go when our almond milk is. Keep on kind of twisting up our little dumpling here. Get all the almond milk. Careful, I almost had a little spill, a little puncture. Gotta watch it. Gotta treat it like it's a living, breathing little animal. I don't know what living, breathing little animal you would gently squeeze the milk out of. A cow. A cow you would gently squeeze the milk out of. It's like milking a cow, except you're milking an almond dumpling, little almond milk dumpling. Also a goat, maybe a sheep, maybe not a goat. No, goat's milk, yeah. You can milk a goat. You can milk a cat. Milk anything with nipples. Isn't that right, Fokker? Not a Wes Anderson line, but definitely one of the most iconic movie lines to probably ever exist. Up there, definitely up there. Oh yeah. We are squeezing and squishing Mother Nature's little almond teat. All right, I think we got all the almond milk we're gonna get out of that. All right, let's add our almond milk to our sugar in the pot. Next, we need a 1/4 ounce of our brandy we're gonna add in. Boom, and we're gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of our orange flower water here. Boom, 1/2 teaspoon orange flower water. All right, let's turn that burner on, medium-high heat. Grab your bar spoon, we're just gonna give this a stir. Really make sure it's well incorporated. And all we gotta do is heat that up to just about a boil, allow all that sugar to dissolve, and our orgeat is ready to roll. So while we're waiting on that, grabbing a container, a lid, and I'm gonna label and date this. And your shelf life on that orgeat, guys, is up to a month refrigerated. All right, guys, that orgeat is heating up beautifully. It looks like all our sugar is dissolved. Just giving it one last stir here. Got our container. Pour that orgeat up. Boom. Grab a lid, and there it is, guys. Our orgeat. All right, the last thing we gotta do, we gotta cut and juice some citrus. So, waiting for my burner to shut the fuck up. Have your lemons. Boom. All right, grabbing 3 containers here to juice into. And let's juice them up and double strain. Once, twice. Grab our lid here, label and date as always, because lemon juice is good for 2 days and you throw it out on the 3rd day. And there it is, guys. We got our lemons juiced, we got our orgeat made, we got our black pepper tincture, we've got our plum infused gin. One more thing just before we go start making the Wes Anderson, I'm just gonna get my Prosecco bottle open and just give you the proper technique on how to open any kind of sparkling wine. Now you know this is the right way to open sparkling wine because those in the region of Champagne believe it's the right way to open up sparkling wine, and I believe they're probably the best people to listen to. Always thumb over the cage and the cork whenever you're opening, right? Undo the cage, lift off the cage, keep the thumb over top. Here we go, grab by the bottom of the bottle here, holding the cork thumb over top, and you're gonna slowly twist the bottle. Goal is to open it as quietly as possible. None of the celebratory shit. Not for this, at least. Oh, that was so quiet. And there we have it, guys. Prosecco's open, ready to go for our cocktail. All right, guys, we are ready to go. All that prep work is done. I got my lemon bottle and this cheater bottle here, my orgeat and the cheater bottle here. This is a shaking cocktail, so first thing we're gonna need is a shaker tin, and we're gonna need our jigger. We're also gonna need our glassware. So, working cheapest, most expensive ingredients, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of orgeat, 1/4 ounce of our Tawny Port, and 1.5 ounces of that Plum Infused Gin, straight from our crew bottle. Next, we're gonna need some ice. Fill that shaker tin all the way to the top. Let's seal her up. Shaking for 12 seconds as always. 12 seconds. Crack that container open. Grabbing both your Hawthorne and your basket strainer to double strain. Get the beautiful color on that between the mixture of the Tawny Port and the Plum Infused Gin. Next, we're gonna top that off with Prosecco. Fill this glass about halfway. And normally, I would have an atomizer to spritz my cocktail, but I don't know what happened to my atomizer. So we're gonna take this Black Pepper Tincture, and we're just gonna do a couple of drops around the cocktail here, just to float it on top. And lastly, I'm just gonna garnish it with one of those pieces of kind of gin-infused plum. Just float it right on the top there. And there it is, guys, the Wes Anderson. Let's taste. Dip that down in there. Beautiful. You get a little bit of that black pepper on the nose. You get that Prosecco, that breadiness there. Man, it's sparkling, it's fresh, it's crisp. You get those plum notes in the gin. It's beautiful and fruity. Nice acid on it. Perfect level of sweetness from that Orgeat, that subtle almond note in there. Really just a nice and light, crisp little fall sipper here. Oh yeah. So drinkable, so crushable, so tasty. The combination of the black pepper and the port coming through, that little bit of like Tawny Port, really is nice, man. Such a great combination of flavors. That's one I don't want to put down, man. A little fall spritz cocktail here for you. Plums in season, beautiful almond Orgeat, Tawny Port, a little gin and a little Prosecco, man. How could you be mad at it? There it is, guys, the Wes Anderson. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Maybe you made it along with me. Maybe you wrote down save for a later date. But either way, let me know how you're liking everything. And as always, guys, become a regular somewhere. Become a regular at your local watering hole. It's the best way to support local business. And become a regular here at Happiness Bar by liking, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell if you want notifications. We got cocktail videos that come out every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Get you ready for the weekend. Stay happy, everyone.